All right. Hey, everybody. So good to see you. It is Kevin and Donna from RPHLI. We have a really special guest today that Donna is going to introduce, but we've got an episode of the Deprescribing Show. Last week, this ugly mug filled in for Donna and went over a few things that Donna can kind of fill in some gaps on and go over when it comes to, minimalizing or minimizing how much we're doing on the medication and overall burden of treatment kind of elements. But today we're talking about a kind of a whole nother thing, which is going to be a lot of fun. And if you guys want to participate, the only thing I'll plug in here before I turn it off to Donna is jump into Donna's channel. We'll be giving some intros to things and some tidbits of information, but Donna's going to be diving very deep into these topics and bringing in some fantastic guests like the one we have today and going even further. So check out her channel, be able to grab more information there, and I'll hand the reins over to Donna.
That's great. Thank you so much, Kevin, and welcome, Deprescribers. And thank you for being part of the Deprescribing channel. So let me introduce someone who is very dear to me, Janet Holtz. She's an exercise physiologist, and we have been friends, I want to say, 22 years, yeah. Ever since our boys were first born. So, and it's just kind of funny. We've just evolved over time. We have walked forever. For those 22 years we have walked. I don't even know how many miles we've done or how many steps we've taken, but we've had great conversations. We've learned so much from each other and in our space that, and we cherish what each other's professions have to do for each other too. So I love this because what I've been hearing lately is people are not feeling great because they're over medicated. They just, they're fatigued or, oh, I must be getting old. And we've heard all this before, but Janet is a maestro in getting people motivated and getting people back. Like, what are we doing to people? So Janet, I'll let you talk a little bit about you and your exercising and just give a little intro, and then we'll talk a little bit more.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, this is so much fun. And we were just saying on our last walk just a little while ago that we should just record what we talk about on our walks, because that's pretty much what we want to share. But yeah, so I am a clinical exercise physiologist, which means that I focus on exercise as medicine. And I worked in cardiac rehab, and I work in bariatrics, helping people with weight loss and exercise. And I've worked with people with disabilities and people with mental and cognitive disabilities. And there's a common denominator there in all of us with exercising, which is motivating is really hard. And so I also became a health coach. And as a health coach, I've learned how to understand motivation, and the blending of those two has made my job and my work so much more fun and rewarding and motivating and just so much easier. Blending psychology and physiology. So that's what I love to do. And I love to bring in science into movement, but also science into motivation, and make it something that exercise is a way to be well now. And that's really what I love to share, is not about, preventing disease in the future, which is great, but how can it make your day better now? And that's what I really focus on.
Yeah. So Janet, and I just want to bring up some of our walks that we've been doing for years, and they were with kids in strollers and kids on our backs, and we called ourselves stroller attendants, but we were determined, and we got out there and we walked very, very regularly. So with that, I just love the fact that we've had the chance to walk and talk so much. But one thing that we have talked about is, both of our dads have, or my dad had, your dad has Alzheimer's, and we've really worked together to, learn from each other and to help each other through these difficult times too. So there's a lot of issues that we've brought together and noticed between the caregiver side of things, the healthcare side of things, and how we help not only ourselves, but our family members, and then others that we're caring for professionally too. So one thing that I always love, and we just mentioned it again today, is the Sanjay Gupta Keep Sharp book. And remember when we were walking one day and I said, hey, they interviewed Sanjay Gupta, and somebody asked him, what is it? What's the one thing I can do to stop Alzheimer's? And he's took pieces from his book and he put it all together and he said, grab a friend, go for a walk and talk about things that matter. And I'm like, woo, we're
gonna be okay.
So we've been doing this for some time, and
yes.
So
it is therapeutic.
It is, absolutely, and we want to definitely keep sharp. So so right now I want us just to kind of dig in at this point and talk about this whole thing about polypharmacy and deprescribing, and then how does exercise physiology even fit into this, and really the conversations that we have. So I'm just going to take a minute or two and just think about what polypharmacy does to people, this over medication that we know. And people, as you've heard me say in other videos too, that people love to blame things on age. And when they blame things on age, then they're not really getting to the root cause of things. And they're not taking care of it or thinking that, oh, it could be a medicine. I've been taking it for 20 years. How could this be the problem? But our bodies change, and we know that there's a lot of change in our bodies. So polypharmacy really not only causes people to not feel well, but it causes them to not exercise. It causes them to become weak and atrophy. And I talk to people all the time about their medicines, and we hear about how they feel unsteady and imbalanced, and we I know we've talked about this a little bit, but they become demotivated. Like they just can't motivate themselves to, because they don't have the energy. They're over medicated. So I really want you to hit a little bit more on being unmotivated, demotivated from exercising, and how that affects us.
It goes hand in hand. And I think we always think about motivation coming from the brain and exercise coming from the body. And really, motivation comes from the two of them talking constantly. So when someone's off balance, or they sense that they're a little bit weaker, or they're more tired, their body is telling their brain, oh, don't move. That's not safe. And then that starts to spiral them downward. And I always think of this as spirals because we're a system, right? Our body is a sense of systems and the brain body connection. And what you practice gets stronger. Use it to keep it, kind of thing, or use it and lose it. And that can happen at any age. So like you said, over prescribing can speed up the aging process in terms of making people feel older, but not necessarily natural aging, right? It's very unnatural aging, makes them weaker faster than they need to be, unbalanced faster than they need to be, even cognitively and emotionally decline faster than they need to be. And what I love is once you fix all of that with the way that you know how to do that, then we can repair those things and start spiraling up gradually. But the thing about motivation is that when you're tired, when you're worried about injury, your brain is there to keep you safe. So your brain's basically saying, oh no, that's not a safe activity. Don't exercise. That's not safe. Then we have all these messages about exercise not being safe, and you could have a heart attack and you could fall. Don't worry, be careful. And that plays in, and people are like, oh no, I better not go hiking. I better not, it's icy out. I better not do that. And there's a level of safety there, logic, but there's a lot of things that we stop doing for fear of injury. And that means you lose it very gradually. And then that feeds into itself, because then your body loses strength and balance. And then it senses and tells your body, oh, you better not do that. And then you stop doing that. And then it's just a downward spiral. So what I love is, using exercise science to spiral up in a very gradual way, because if you do too much too soon, you spiral down. So it's a very careful, measured process, both mentally and physically and emotionally. And that's where those sciences come in together. So that motivation piece is huge, but it's very tied to that physical sense of your body and your mindset about your body.
So Janet, we're going to switch over and we're going to use our other link. I hope we have you interested in learning more. We're going to discuss other things such as thinking about deprescribing and how that helps with frailty and anticholinergic burden. And we're going to be thinking about how to get people back to exercising, because if we're reducing medicines, then we can also reduce frailty scores and anticholinergic scores as well. And we're going to talk about interprofessional opportunities, because here we are, we're doing this, we're interprofessionals, and we are doing business. We both have our businesses, and we're going to share those models with you and how we help each other. So
Absolutely.
Kevin, thank you so much for being with us. And just one more quick thing. We are WOW, Janet and I. We are the Women of Wachusett. And we coined this years ago when we started talking about what we wanted to do in our businesses. So when you think WOW, think about Donna and Janet.
We are WOW.
Love it. That's so fantastic. Well, that's perfect, Donna. And just like Donna said, head on over to rphli.com, register, get all set up, get into Donna's Deprescribing channel, and be ready to see some links popping your way about Janet and Donna's in-depth conversation. Look forward to seeing you guys there. Bye-bye.
Thanks a million, Kevin.